All right, guys. How's it going? I am your girl, Liza Suffering. I was waiting on my computer to install some updates and whatever. So thank God for a cell phone that is compatible with your systems and software that you need to use so that we can still get going for today. So welcome. If you're watching this on a replay, please hashtag replay. Please share the YouTube link to rewatch this video as well with your friends or anyone who would be interested in learning um, the keys to success toward achieving your goals, achieving your dreams, following your dreams, or what have you. So tonight's topic is Wednesday, and I'm vowing to come here on Wednesdays and just share with you the things that either I went through or that I see other people going through that can either hinder you from where you want to be and how to get back on track and follow those dreams that you've always had. Um, Tonight we're going to talk about talents, okay? Because I remember when I used to do so many things, and my talents are the things that took care of me. But, whatever you're going through in life, or you got so many ideas, or you have to work, or you have children, and you give up on those things quite easily. And before you know it, years have went by. When I'm here to tell you that your talents and your gifts are sometimes the way out, or sometimes the way and the key to a successful business, or having a better quality of life. Okay, you were given certain gifts and talents that other people don't have, right? And I believe that those gifts and talents are meant for you to use to either create the life that you want or save lives. So the topic for tonight is how to save lives using your talents and your gifts. Something that I've always been able to do, or figure out with, whatever it was that I was doing at the time. It's a gift and a curse to be able to do so many things, but you get to a point where you figure out exactly what you want to do. And I also want to prevent you from having to pick and choose. You need to find that thing that's going to reward you, that you can do 10 to 12 hours a day with a smile on your face, or whether it's a hobby or whatever, you can really elevate a hobby. So talents and gifts, put in the chat how your talents and your gifts, the things that you just love to do on the side, those things that you don't get time to do anymore that you really, really enjoy, or those things that you've done either in high school or your early 20s that you really haven't had time to do. And now you see that the culture around those things is growing. Other people are doing it in different ways. They are getting rich from those things that you like to do, and you're like, okay, well, why didn't I stick with that, right? But it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. So the reason I chose this topic is because if you're in business, if you're using your talents as far as a service-based business, you may want to find more clients, or you may be struggling with that portion. And I want to show you how to really, really get more clients, or you know, without even thinking about it. You're going to be doing that thing you love in a very special way, giving back to some place or community, um, doing that thing, and doors will open for you. So I know that we've all heard the saying that, thou shalt give to receive, and it is so true. But you may find yourself like, well, I'm barely trying to make ends meet, or I'm trying to figure out how to get my foot in the door. How do I give when I have nothing to give? Right? So the thing is, if you have talents and gifts that are awarded to you, you don't even have to pay or buy anything to utilize this gift that you have. It's just a natural gift, whether it's speaking publicly, or drawing, or art, or hair, or whatever. Okay, I'll give you a scenario in a moment of how I was effectively able to use my gifts to boost my credibility in a job, a 9 to 5 job, right? So then I took that same idea and brought it into my business, and it also helped me as well. So last week we talked about collaborations and how that can elevate you as well, move up in any field quickly. Okay, so tonight we're gonna discuss the talent portion. Okay, so I wrote some notes. All right. So basically, I want you to think about how you can come out of the pitfall of, feeling like you don't have anything to give. Okay. You have to use what you got to get what you want. Right. We've heard that before, but you can do it in a positive way. Correct. So how can you give back using your talents? All right. So I remember I got a job in activities. My resume was on Indeed, and a recruiter was recruiting for a nursing home. And she called me and she said, "Hey, I see that you're a nursing assistant, but what I really like about you is because I had my own business on my resume where I did personal care in the nursing home, going around doing manicures and blah, blah, blah for the old ladies. And I learned that from my grandmother when I was a child. She would go around to the recreation centers and she would do nails for the young girls at the recreation centers in Durham. So I took that same idea and I would do it in the nursing homes or private health care. Okay. So I got this job. I had already had the job. I did my interview, but I did have something on my criminal record where they posed the question and I had to explain myself that that was a time in my life when you know things were not so good and I've learned my lesson and blah blah blah. Of course, but I didn't want to end there. So what I did was I took the initiative to volunteer my services before I was even required to show up to work. So I said, okay, since I'm hired for activities, I will go in and just host an activity out of my own pocket for the residents. Okay. And I came up with the best activity I could come up with. It was an art activity. So I went to the supply store, bought a few supplies for a couple of residents and everything we would need to perform this activity. Long story short, by the time I was finished, other staff members, the managers, everyone had their eyes on me. They just loved that I volunteered and did this thing for free. They liked the activities. They were happy to see the residents happy. And that really gave me credibility before I even started working, correct? So then that honestly, the first month of working, that one gesture granted me um employee of the month my first month at that location. Okay. I had the pleasure of working there for a few years, even in their other location in another county. And I really loved the work that I did. The moral of this story is that long behold, some newbie comes in as a manager in the nursing department, wants to dictate things, and she told me to do something that she could have done. And I have this strong belief in the nursing homes that everyone should answer call bells, especially if you recognize it, if you're right there. And I felt like she was attacking me because I was a CNA. Everybody knows CNAs have it the hardest in those environments. And long story short, I lost my job. And it really hurt me because I was devoted to the job from day one before I even got the job. And, you know, now I realize that, hey, you put your life into someone else's hands at that moment, right? So, what I'm telling you is that you can use these same tactics in your own business, becoming your own boss. What would it mean for you if you exercise those strategies to volunteer, to give back to the community for your own cause, right? We do it every day for other people, right? Going in, making residents happy, helped the managerial department look good. That helped them save money. Okay, you have to realize what it is that you're doing for these companies, and it's more than just what your job description is saying, and it's more than just what you're coming in to do. When you go above and beyond, you are now qualified in a whole different spectrum. You qualified yourself, but you have to see how great you are and what it is that you have to offer. Okay. So what I'm saying is, okay, you take those same remedies, you use them for your own brand, which no one can take away from you, basically. Does that make sense? All right. So who can you help? Who can you collaborate with that has a flood of contacts, and helping them helps you. My mentor would say, if you help enough people get what they want, you get what you want, right? It's that simple. It doesn't matter what you're doing. When you can take a day to give back to someone else, and you never know who's going to recognize that deed that you performed. Okay. So let's say you have a food truck and you like to cook, or you just cooking in your kitchen. Well, how come you haven't set up your food truck at one of the local shelters and give away food? You and a few friends could come together to have a fish fry, chicken fried, whatever, give away food that day. Now everyone around here knows. Shoot, one of the shelters is right across from the news station. You never know who's going to see, who's going to call. Maybe the staff will, say, hey, I have a wedding coming up. Could you cater my wedding? I love your mission, what you're doing to give back. I would love to support you by you coming to my wedding. I pay you to cater for my wedding. Who knows? Does that make sense? Okay. If you have a cleaning service, you can go to the elderly home or the senior citizen buildings. These women are flooded with borderline hoarders. Okay. And they need to get rid of some stuff. All right. So you can go up there with a flyer, show that you're trustworthy, and help 2 to 3 people clean their homes at the high rise building. Okay. I know this will be beneficial. I have an aunt now who has 2 amputees, and she is in desperate need of someone to come in and help her out. Okay. So you just have to use your creativity. Okay. And before you know it, someone may come and visit that old lady and say, hey, who helped you? Who cleaned up? I know you couldn't do this. And she's going to tell everyone about you, how you helped her. She may tell the whole building. You could put a flyer up in the building. Next thing you know, you got a flood of calls and customers. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's not that you're being, what you are being is strategic, and it's okay to do that. As long as the initial volunteer service is from the heart, you don't take advantage of people, you're opening the door to move faster. And my thing, again, like I said last week, is productivity. How can I get to one destination faster? Okay. And this is the way. This is the only way. Okay. So, again, how can you use your talents to save people's lives? Going into a high rise building, helping a few elderly people clean up, you're providing safety for them, potentially preventing fire hazards in their home. Okay. When you go feed the homeless, you're preventing someone from starving. Okay. It may be a cold night in winter. If they didn't get that warm cooked meal from you that day, they may not have survived that night. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. You going and just posting a flyer that you got 2 openings for a makeover. right? You're going to help someone feel good who was probably on borderline suicidal. Okay. You have these gifts for a reason, and it's more than, it's not always about the money, although doors will open for you. But when you operate out of love and giving back, you will see better days in your business, in your hobby, and whatever else it is that you want to do. Okay, so that's it for tonight. I won't hold you long. I have a launch. If anyone is interested in lymphatic detox, just leave a comment, send a message, and I'll invite you into the group with a client who's a doctor in lymphatic therapy, and so you can join us over there. So have a lovely night and take care, guys.